Let's turn to education on the Burnsey Show this morning. I told you before Christmas that Hull College, there was a possibility of jobs being lost. We talked to the unions concerned, that they had concerns, wanted to know more. So the best way to find out is talk to the person running Hull College. And I'm grateful to Michelle Swithenbank, the Chief Executive, for coming into the studio this morning. Morning to you.
Morning, Burnsey. Nice to see you again.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate that. Where's the college at the moment?
So at the moment, I can't say much more than we are in discussions with the government. We've done a recovery plan, and we're in discussions with them to see if there's any help and support they can give us in effectively running that recovery plan, so that we can have a certain positive future for the college.
Okay. In journalistic terms, then, you're looking for a bailout from the government to keep the college going?
It's more a holistic recovery plan that's covering lots of areas of the organisation, from looking at rebranding it to looking at making systems and processes better and improving the infrastructure that we have there. So at the moment, like I said, it is literally just discussions, and for legal reasons I can't give much more than that at this time.
Is the college in trouble? Because the last time I think there were accounts, the college was 10 million quid in debt. Are you in financial trouble at Hull College?
Well, you'll have read the FE Commissioner report from November 16, and I know that I wasn't here then, but I know you commented back in November, and the FE Commissioner has alerted to some issues that we need to resolve.
OK. So how much are you asking the government for?
Like I said, Burnsey, I don't want to jeopardise our recovery, so for legal reasons I can't really give you much more information.
In the proximity of 50-odd million quid?
I'm like I said, I can't. I know you've got a job to do, but I really can't talk for legal reasons about what we're discussing.
When these discussions with the government, when will they be ended? When will you know?
We're hoping over the next couple of months to be able to talk about where we're at with that. So I'm really happy to come back on and talk to you, Burnsey, when I've got some more information and an update for you.
What happens if the government say no, Michelle?
Again, we've got the recovery plan there, so we will have to go back to the drawing board and look at what other plans we can put afoot. But at the moment, it's just discussing with where we can go with what support we might be able to access.
Okay, and what have the indications been from the government?
Like I said, discussions at the moment. But
have they been positive, or are they saying you're kidding us?
I'd say neutral at the moment. It's the kind of discussions we're having haven't given a particular indication.
Okay,
so.
You say recovery plan. What's the college recovering from?
Well, the recovery plan is to get us to a really positive place where we're looking at how we can better provide for the city. So that's not to say that we haven't, but we can always do things better. So it's a complete look at how we deliver everything, how we can make a better positive environment for the students, so how we can improve the Wi-Fi for them. I've got lots of systems at the moment that work very independently from one another, so we're looking at how we can make some more synergy with that and make it easier for staff, make it easier for students. And like I've mentioned, we're looking at a rebrand for the college as well.
Okay, but the college is there to provide education, so are you providing more? Will you, in the future, under this plan, be providing more places or less places, more courses, less courses? Which way are you going?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we've discovered in our curriculum review is that we don't offer very much, or as much as we could, at the lower level provision. So for those that need to do what we call a level 1, so they might need an extra bit of support to move on to that A-level standard of study. So we're putting in some extra courses there, so that we're open up to all diversities.
Okay, so just to get a picture in my head, how many students does the college have?
In total, when you look at part-time and adults and 14 to 16s, HE and all of my 16 to 18 students, we've got around 18,000. When we look at just the 16 to 18-year-olds, we've got about 2,500.
Okay, so you've got 18,000 people use the college.
Across the group, yes.
Right, okay.
Forgetting we've got three colleges,
so
we're not just talking about Hull, we've got the other site.
Right, okay, I'll come to that in a minute. Once the recovery plan, if it's approved, how many people will you be providing for?
Well, we want to grow, but we want to grow steadily. So, unfortunately, within the city, there's been a demographic fall over the last few years of people leaving school. That's predicted to rise gradually over the next 4 years. So I would say over the next 4 to 5 years, we will have increased slightly.
OK, let's get to part of the nub of the matter. How many staff have you got?
In total, around 1,200, and that includes all various kinds of staff, full-time, part-time, staff that come in casually.
OK, and if your recovery plan is approved, how many staff will you have?
I can't answer that at
You
the moment.
must have a plan for that, though. If you've got a recovery plan, you must have a plan. So what's the bottom line into how many staff you'll have, Michelle?
You'll know, Bernsey, that the college has gone through turmoil of cuts after cuts every year. And as I mentioned in the Hull Daily Mail, it's not about the senior management team coming in and making cuts. It's about us looking at what exactly does this business need to not just to survive, but thrive and be sustainable and really be that college the city deserves. So what we've been busy doing since I last saw you is something called business process engineering. So that looks at how we do things currently. So if you take example the student journey, what do we do to market to that student right the way through to how we get a student into the college and on our books, so to speak.
Got you.
And that's a quite lengthy process at the moment.
But so what's the bottom line? You've got 1,200 staff. Your recovery plan, what's the number of staff?
Until we finish those processes, which are coming to an end now, when those processes have been streamlined, and I've had all the staff involved in that, so all the different teams have been coming in and saying, this is how we do it, but this is how we could do it better. Now those new processes are apparent, are to-be processes, if you like, we can start to look at what structures we need to service those processes. So until that's done, I can't answer that.
All right. Are you saying to me there's going to be no job cuts at Hull College?
I can't say what there's going to be at this present time, because we're going about this in a thorough way, in a holistic way, to make sure that we're servicing
But if you're
the
asking
whole
the government
business.
for money, you must have already given them the plan.
Well, like
You
I said,
are asking the government for money, aren't you?
Well, like I said, we're in discussions with the government, but again...
Well, if you but there's a reason you're in discussions with the government, isn't there? You're asking for money to say, look, we're financially challenged here. We need some money, so therefore there must be a plan to say, and look, there must be a plan to say this is how many jobs are going.
I can't answer that because, like I've said to you, it's about setting this business up to survive and thrive. It's not about just coming in and cutting to get to a better cost base.
On LinkedIn before Christmas, you were advertising. You've just pulled a face there.
Because I knew you were going to ask me that.
And looked at your PR officer. You on LinkedIn before Christmas, you were advertising for an HR professional who, and this is me in rudimentary terms, who basically was a hatchet person who had to deal with getting rid of jobs. I don't think you phrased it like that, I know you didn't phrase it like that, but I looked at it and thought, well, you're looking for an HR professional to handle job losses.
I was looking for a HR professional to help me look at organisational design. I fully believe, and I say this to my staff, that I employ people for their expertise. So I'm not in a position of micromanaging my staff or hiring someone and telling them what to do. I believe a business runs by having experts in who are good at what they do. So therefore, I need some support to interpret the FE Commissioner report and look at how we can organise the organisation from a design point of view alongside these business processes. And that can take shape in a number of things. So when you talk about
so it's
restructure,
not you're not advertising a temporary job to help you to get rid of jobs at Hull College.
I'm advertising a temporary job to help us look at a restructure, which can involve many things, including redeployment. So I've already identified staff whose skills could have been better used in another area of my organisation, which we've done, and moved staff across in areas. So it's about maximising what we can do for a really sustainable future.
Have you got somebody yet to do that?
We're just interviewing at the moment.
Okay. And if this all goes according to plan and the government say yes, etc., when will all this come to fruition?
When will what all come to fruition?
Well, the plan that you're not quite telling us, Michelle, what the plan is.
Like I said, the plan covers a multitude of things. So when I say we're in discussions with the government, that's support for a lot of things, not just for restructuring the organisation. Like I said, it's looking at
I know, but when people say
things.
restructuring, it normally means it's posh or whatever management speak for, you're going to be restructured out of job. That's what it means in layman's terms.
Well, like I said, I'll point you back to the FE Commission report you mentioned to Julie Kelly. And when Julie Kelly was on, she also talked about revolutionising the college. And I wanted to respond to that because I think that's a bit of a misinterpretation of what we meant. What we meant was an innovation of the college. So I've talked to you lots about the new systems and IT that we're trying to get in place. And they're the kind of things that the recovery plan is a whole holistic approach of what can we do to really make this organisation the great it needs to be for the city.
How do you compete with the new UTC, which is, I think we heard earlier this week, was oversubscribed in the courses they're offering? Are you oversubscribed, and how do you compete?
Well, like I've said to many people, including the Hull Daily Mail recently, we need the city behind us to make our place the best environment it can be for students, and we want more students. The more positive news we can get out about what we're doing to generate more students is great for us. But we also recognise that we're not for everybody, and there has to be a place in the city for every student. So there's got to be a place for them to study A-levels, and there's got to be a place for them to study the specifics of the engineering they're studying. So absolutely, there's a place for all within.
I know what you're trying to do, and you're trying to put Hull College on a sound footing and everything like that, but obviously I'm looking at it and thinking, you've gone to the government, there's been this report, the end result of this, you have to save money. How much money do you have to save?
Well, do you know what? When I can talk about it, I will come back and I will answer all these questions for you.
Are we talking hundreds of jobs? Are we talking a third of your staff?
Again, I can come back and talk to you when I know more. At this point, all I can say is we've done the processes, so we know what the business needs to do to operate. That's as much as I know at this point in time.
Michelle, I appreciate you coming in and talking to me this morning. Good luck with it, because it's an important institution.
Absolutely.
In the city. We'll see what people think. Appreciate your time this morning. Michelle Swithenbank, the Chief Executive of Hull College. If you have any thoughts, as always, let me know.